Good evening, everybody. I am back in the lab again today and doing some more testing and debugging on my market maker algo, seeing where I can make some improvements and doing some more tinkering and got another version that I'm testing right now with some updates. So last update was I had made some changes to, or actually collected a bunch of data regarding order flow from Binance and whether or not that's got any predictive power as to um, price reversals or trend continuation, anything like that. And kind of what I was seeing was that the data was pointing towards actually trend exhaustion. So if the buying order flow went extremely high, there was a high likelihood of that price not continuing in that direction that it was actually heading, it actually reversing over a period of time. So I've been collecting some more data. So that was only a couple days worth of data that I collected. I've been collecting data now for about 5 or 6 days. So got a few more different types of market conditions. Market's been, for the most part, relatively quiet compared to where it has been the last few weeks. Volatility's died down a bit and price has recovered a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see once volatility starts picking up again, if we have some big up moves or big down moves, how that's going to change things. But I'll kind of show you where things are sitting right now with the order flow. So let's see here. Why is my screen not? Oh, that is because we are sharing just the app, which was Chrome. Okay, here we go. Okay, so last time, what the data was pointing to was the trend actually reversing once we hit these extreme buying or selling periods. And I was taking a look at the price 1 minute after the event, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and 30 minutes. And what I'm seeing is that there is the highest probability of seeing a trend reversal 30 minutes after the buying or selling subsides. So now, also at the same time, the magnitude of these numbers are not as great as I was previously seeing, where it was like on average 200-point reversal. And that could be because the sample size was much smaller. We're looking at a day and a half worth of data, whereas now we're at 6 days worth of order flow data. So kind of here's where things stand. So Z scores here. So basically, and I bumped this up as well because previously I was looking for Z scores above 2 or below -2. And I decided I want to look at really extreme events. So three Z scores of 3 or above. So we got the 30-minute cumulative volume delta, 60 minutes. So this is like a rolling 30-minute period or a rolling 60-minute period. And then the 30 and 60-minute combined. So if both of those things agree, then that triggers the signal. So what we're seeing here is that using the combined 30 and 60 minutes, on average, after seeing one of these events, you see a price reversal of about $64. Now, not enough to trade here, but enough to make some adjustments to how the bids or the asks, I guess in this case, are getting placed if we're trending up. And then we see this kind of blow off in the selling or the buying pressure. And then what this is indicating is that 35% of the time, the price is higher than it was before the buying event happened. So this is saying 35% of the time, once that buying subsides, 30 minutes later, the price is lower than it was. or rather 65, I'm sorry, 65% of the time. So basically, this is the positive return, right? So 35% of the time there's a positive return, meaning the price is lower 65% of the time. And then kind of the opposite here, when we see extreme selling, after that subsides, 30 minutes later, on average, the price is $83 higher. And 70% of the time, that the price is higher than it was when it started, meaning like only 30% of the time the price actually continues lower. Now, the other really interesting thing that I found in doing this is I took a look at a trend indicator too. So I coupled this with a trend indicator to say, okay, what happens if the trend I was looking at a 30-minute trend. What happens if the trend is up and we have, this extreme buying event? Well, almost all of the samples were in when these things were in uptrends. There was only one period I caught where there was an uptrend, but there was an extreme selling event of this magnitude where the order flow came through in this manner. And then same thing the other way. There was only one sample where there was a downtrend, but we had an extreme buy event. So I thought that was really interesting. Now we'll see if this holds when we get some days where the market gets a little wild. But for now, it's kind of safe to say that the events are going to be happening in the same direction as the trend. So I don't yet know how I am going to make adjustments to the algo to account for this, because like a 30-minute window here based on some extreme buying and selling pressure is kind of an eternity for a market making algo, right? So I think what I'm going to do though is basically have this just be an indicator to tread carefully. Uh, if the trend has been up strong, then we see this event happen, we might then want to tighten the asks a bit, try to get hit or try to get our ask lifted, and then bank on the price retreating, and then maybe move the bids up just a hair to see if we can catch some more trades. So that's one thing I've been looking at that I'm trying to figure out right now to incorporate, but I collected some more data, so I thought I would share it. And then the other thing that I have implemented that I will be testing out is basically a strong trending, trying to detect strong trending days and being way more careful on those days. So like I had mentioned in previous videos, I like how the algo is managing its inventory, and on strong trending days, it's not maxing out its inventory, which had previously been doing in the first few iterations. So it's doing a better job of managing it, but still there's quite a ways to go as far as the risk management piece. It's still holding too much inventory when the price, is just trending up. It's selling, it's selling, it's selling. They get a retrace, it'll cover a bit, but then it continues selling. And on these days where there's very few pullbacks, had a couple days a few weeks ago where, I ended up hitting the 3% daily stop loss for that day, and I want to avoid that. So what I want to do is really try to tighten down that risk management piece and get even more defensive on those days where the market is really trending strongly. So the algo seems to be doing great in range bound days where the market just can't make up its mind, and that's what these sorts of algos are great for, is the mean reversion piece. But at the same time, it's got to be a bit smarter about trying to figure out, when it shouldn't just fight the trend, it should get in a more defensive posture and then wait for the market to settle down before it starts getting back in there and really trying to trade that spread. So I've put in a trend detection piece in there, and we'll see how it goes. I also added a very, very rudimentary it's hard to parse the log files for what's actually going on in the algo at any given time, right? So, and I don't want to spend a ton of time developing a UI for this just yet because I'm still testing out a thousand different ideas here. I don't know what's going to stick, and I don't want to waste my time, making a nice pretty UI on this to plot some various stats about what the algo is actually doing. But at the same time, it's really hard to read log files in real time to see what some of the key indicators are in the algo. So I basically put in a tiny server, a tiny HTTP server that's just spitting out some JSON here, and I'll be adding some key indicators this just so I can kind of do a temperature check to see what the algo thinks it's going on, and make sure that what I think it should be doing, it's actually doing, and I can actually see in real time here, what's going on. So I'm going to start adding some more pieces here. So we have the bid and the ask that the algo currently has posted. Now, danger zone is kind of what I termed when the market kind of goes into this state of just a strong trend and not really wanting to pull back at all. So once it hits the danger zone, it gets really defensive about, if it's an uptrend, it gets really defensive with holding back on, putting any more asks out there or vice versa in a strong downtrending day. And so this is basically using a combination of just price action, ATR for volatility, and then just how large of a move it has made over a certain time period. So if all these things kind of line up, it says, okay, let's hold off here on and back off on trying to accumulate any more inventory until things kind of calm down a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to be doing a bit more tweaking on this, and then I am going to put it back out there and let it do another run, hopefully for a few days before I see it hit a daily stop loss again, and we'll see if the performance has improved at all over the last iteration. So uh, fingers crossed that we get another incremental improvement here, and I'll keep you guys posted. I'll see you later. Bye.